Right, guys, welcome back to the All or Nothing podcast. I'm Ryan. I'm joined by Elliot, and we actually have quite a lot to talk about this week. As usual, as VAR is going to be mentioned. I have quite a few things to say about Spurs, and specifically Spurs fans, and what's going on in the league right now. I don't want to talk about AFCON because my team got put out of it. I don't feel like talking about that. How are you, Elliot? How are you doing today?
I'm good. We had a bit of a drunken weekend since we last recorded. Yeah, like we went. You came down to Manchester. We watched the City Chelsea game, and it didn't get tickets. Your brother had tickets, but yeah, we went back to myself sports bar. Sat next to some absolutely seething Chelsea fan with his mullet in a striped Ralph Lauren quarter zip.
He was about as Chelsea fan as you could get.
Yeah.
He was Rory Jennings, really. He was what Rory looks like, but he had the
Turned
black
up to
slip
11.
back here instead. Yes, and we made sure to exasperate every single reaction we had. We all became City fans.
Yeah, I mean, even our mate who's a United fan was cheering for City things, which was quite funny because he despises Chelsea more, which is brilliant.
Because everybody hates Chelsea.
I was going to say,
for obvious reasons.
We had me, City fan, you, Tottenham fan, Man United fan, West Ham fan, and Liverpool/Norwich fan. So we had Robbie Knox with us.
Basically, everybody versus Chelsea.
It was beautiful.
Nobody on that list that likes Chelsea.
Apart from that, mate's girlfriend, who was just like soothing him, telling him to drink his Peroni.
Yeah, rubbing his arm.
Yeah.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. Kevin De Bruyne scores a screamer. It's okay, babe. You're going to get one back.
It's okay. You have the LeBron James of soccer. It'll be okay.
Oh my days! I think one of the big talking points since we last recorded the podcast is VAR.
Yeah.
What is going on with it? What is going on?
I mean, it's been a bit all over the place this season. But I think this week just gone is massive talking points on it.
So there's one about I didn't actually see this, but I have it written down because I remember seeing Laporte's leg. What happened with that? It was a red card challenge, but not a red card challenge. But his leg was all messed up and
So there were the two things in the City game. Obviously, there was the potential pen as well that wasn't given.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know if that was a pen. But this red card one, this tackle one. I don't know if it was just the ball lobbed from the keeper or it had been like headed on. I can't quite remember the specifics, but then Laporte goes to control it, gets the ball. The Southampton player comes in late, like his foot is clearly way too high for the ball, and just absolutely clarts into Laporte's leg. And
now you say this, I remember seeing this on Match of the Day, and initially I went, "Oh, it was an accident," and then I watched
you see
again.
it, and you see his leg goes up after the ball is like his leg goes up so late for it.
It wasn't malicious. It was just irresponsible. It seemed.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think he obviously did it on purpose, but like the exact same thing happened to Scott McTominay last year from a Southampton player. Within, what was it, like a minute of the game starting, and
yeah, then Southampton player made his debut as a kid, and he got himself sent off, and Man United won 9-0.
Yeah. Then when it happens to City, and there are a few obviously debatable VAR decisions over the weekend. It seems a bit like trying to peg us back a bit, keep the title race, because obviously you don't want the league wrapped up by March.
Oh yeah, so what the Man City pen that wasn't given, I vividly remember this one on Match of the Day because I thought the rules always were, if the foot is on the line, that's a penalty. That counts as in the box, and obviously there was a decision where they should have had Southampton should have had a player sent off, which yes they should have. Also, this penalty would have put City in front, would it not?
Yeah, it would have been 2-1 at that point.
3 points taken away from, like a possible 3 points, you only got one. And then we have Man United's late goal at Old Trafford against West Ham.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
Did Chelsea have a? Yeah, Chelsea had the Harry Kane one.
God. Yeah, so it does feel like, obviously, I don't want to feed into conspiracies. I do enough of that with Scottish football. Everybody who watches Scottish football thinks there's conspiracies with referees and officiating. But it does feed these kind of people that will believe that the top four's been rigged and that they've got who they want in the top four and they're going to try and keep it that way.
I mean,
it's too big a conspiracy to hide it, you'd hope. You'd hope somebody would talk
but
about it.
I think at the end of the day, the FA is run by people who have friends in high places, probably in these clubs. Maybe not so much Man City, but definitely in your Liverpool, your Man United, Arsenal, possibly Chelsea.
True.
Like, you have... The FA will be former players and things like that played for these historic, prestigious clubs in Britain. But
was United's goal off?
I think it was, but I think it's like a marginal call. Like, I'm not too... It's a really hard one. I think it's one of those where it could just as well be offside as it is just marginally onside. And the thing is, it was 3 o'clock kickoff. I wasn't watching the game. I was at the Salford City game. But I don't know how long the VAR decision took. But if it took minutes and minutes to decide, like, obviously I'm not, like I said, not sure. But if it took a matter of minutes to decide, and then you have the United fans saying, "Oh no, it was the right decision. It was the right decision." Like, that has then happened for them against Aston Villa in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And now this. I don't, obviously, like I said, don't know the length of the time and the decision took, but I listened to McCullough talk about it on his podcast with Rory, and I don't think it was a short period of time that it took because of how marginal it was, you know?
See, I feel like it's one of those ones where if it was my team, I would want it given. If it was against me, I wouldn't want it given.
Yeah, I think that's the same for the Harry Kane one. Like, I would say that. Like, if that was my team, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would want that disallowed because I think at the end of the day that was a foul. Like, he did push him, and you know these guys aren't running at slow speeds. They're like professional athletes. They have a fair old bit of pace to them, you know.
But he's also a defender who gets shoved about in the box constantly. Like, are you telling me that would be given as a penalty? I don't think that's given as a penalty if that same scenario happens.
Yeah.
Which, if it's not going to be given as a penalty, it can't be given as a foul against Thiago Silva. This doesn't... That changed the dynamic of that game. Like, I know for a fact Chelsea are just a better team. They've beaten Tottenham 3 times in the space of 3 weeks.
Isn't it 4 times this year? Or no, this season.
This season, yeah.
So that's not this year. That would be but it's 3 times in a month.
3 times this year already. I understand that, right? But we were playing 4 fullbacks in front of each other. That goal could have changed the dynamic of that game, and they chopped it off. And then Chelsea just came out swinging in the second half, and they scored a screamer, and it was,
that was a very good goal.
Done by that point, right? But imagine Harry Kane had scored that, and it stood. How massive a goal that would have been for okay, hunker down. We're gonna fight for this result even more so. I'm extremely frustrated because I think that go back 15 years. Thiago Silva's not going down there. That the defender is not going down. He made a mistake, and because of his experience and whatever, he was calculated, and he decided to fall, and he took the risk of, I'll fall over and they might score and I'll look a bit funny, or I'll fall over and it'll get chopped off, and it got chopped off. And
the thing is, though, you have to think,
just can't believe
it's got to that. That's not necessarily the player's fault. That's the fault of the refs that they've let the game get to this point.
That is true.
Thiago Silva,
I can't fault Thiago Silva. I can't fault him.
He's just playing the game, really.
Yeah, that's exactly. It comes down to his experience, doesn't it? He's done exactly what he should do.
Yeah.
It's just annoying that you can do that to then prevent conceding a goal by just kind of falling over. If you actually look at the contact, it's not huge. It's not huge. I understand about momentum and stuff like that, but also, it's not enough. So
I think Thiago, you're looking at it, and like you said about momentum, Thiago Silva is also still leaning forward when he's running, whereas Harry Kane's already leaning back.
Yeah.
He knows that's being cut back, so he's leaning back, just adding that bit of a push to slow himself down. That will add a fair bit of force to him. So I think, obviously, he's accentuated it, but I think he was probably going down from the push as well.
I genuinely just don't. I just don't think that anywhere else on the pitch that's given is a foul. Really, I don't think it's that big a deal. And if it's not going to be given as penalty, if it was the other way round, then it can't be given as a foul. It's in the past. It's what it is. I mean, we were always going to get beat by Chelsea in my head anyway, so I'm not disappointed. It's just frustrating. Like, that VAR has had, like, what feels like inconsistencies all weekend for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, and one more inconsistency was obviously the Liverpool one.
Oh,
which
I actually really believe Crystal Palace were going to get a point from that.
Yeah, I
really
thought
it.
they could have. I really like this Crystal Palace team. I think Vieira's doing
I love it.
Boston job. But
I hate that I like Odson Edward. I hate that he's made me like him. He scored against Liverpool and I was cheering and I was like, I hated you a year ago. And now I'm like, oh my god. But
so on this pen, if you look at Edison against Newcastle, it is pretty much the exact same thing. No one has control of the ball. No one has control of the ball. And Jota just runs into Guaita.
That's like he's intentionally shifted his body.
Edison. Right.
Yeah, Jota's quite evidently it shifted his body. You can see in the slow motion he shifted his body weight to move towards Guaita.
If he had so long to get out of that. He had so long to pull out of that. He could have jumped over him. He could have moved to the left, moved to the right. Just carried on running in a straight line.
He's done it to try to fool the refs, and it's worked, and that's embarrassing. Like these officials can get caught out like that.
Was
like,
it given straight away as a pen, or was it VAR?
No, it was reviewed. It was reviewed for a wee bit as well. It wasn't long, like super long, but it was an extended enough period of time for you to go, come on now, this is a joke. Like, they've looked at it enough to know that he's looking for that foul.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think if you slow it down and watch it enough times, you can find malicious intent in anything.
Well, what was that Villa goal? The United goal against Villa, where they tried to find every possible.
The Villa one against United, where then they come up with what's his name? Is it the young lad? Jacob Ramsey, was him that was offside in the way of Cavani.
Yeah. And then it came down to was there a foul here? Was there a handball?
Because initially I thought I thought they were looking at the Danny Ings for a potential handball, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Was there an offside? Was there? It's just like, come on. Was it not 3 minutes to?
Something like that, because it sucks, because I advocate for VAR. I quite like VAR.
Well, it's like I said in the message to you, it's not the technology that's bad, it's the people using it.
There's a reason that the World Cup took no English referees to it. There's a reason, and it's because they're shit. It's the same reason that Scotland can't get VAR, because our referees are shit. And it would just be a nightmare.
Obviously, your referees normally support one of two teams.
Yeah, which is weird, because we are one of the only leagues on the fucking planet that allows referees to officiate teams that they support. Don't even get me started. It doesn't make sense. I hate referees. I hate officials. They're like, I just can't understand how you can be a professional referee in England, but the best league in the world supposedly, and be making schoolboy errors. Like, you literally have 100 cameras staring at these events, and you're still getting them wrong.
I don't ever hear issues about VAR in Italy, issues about VAR in League 1, Serie A. That is Italy, isn't it? La Liga.
Yes.
I don't hear about it in the Eredivisie.
Bundesliga. Yeah.
Like,
I know, there's always going to be issues and mistakes. It's part of human error, isn't it?
That's it. I'm not saying there isn't, and obviously a lot of the football I watch is English football. But it's just, it just feels like I think the issue is when they get told to go over to the monitor, that's because they think the person in Stockley Park thinks there's because the clear and obvious error thing is actually for the referees, isn't it? It's if the referees made a clear and obvious error. Yeah. So the referee then thinks, oh, I've made a mistake, they've spotted something. None of them, I'm obviously I don't know certain of these figures, but I feel like 99% of the time, whenever they go over to the monitor, it gets overturned. The decision gets
Yeah,
changed.
you're almost
None of the referees.
You're almost guranteed that that's going to happen.
None of the referees
You're
have
right.
the balls to say, "No, I stick with my original decision." And we saw that in. Did you watch the Nigeria game?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
So like the Alex Iwobi red card. Why was that overturned? The referee had a clear vision of it. He made his decision. Yeah.
This you're right. It's a problem with the referees that because they're scared if they then don't go with VAR, they'll
go against the grain, and then
and they'll get ripped into in the media. It'll be this and that, and it's like, but that's your job. That's literally that's your job. That's what you got to do. You got to accept that. Like, you're going to get shit because not everyone's going to agree with your decision, but stand by your decision if you want to. You know, like. They're getting swayed, and it's like, understand that the point of VAR is to be like, no, you're wrong on this one. This is why. But if you're then being sent to the monitor, that's basically going to them. Yeah, so you're maybe wrong, but we're maybe wrong. So maybe you should have a look. Just fucking like if you're going up to that, you're going, no, I was pretty confident I was right, but they're saying I was wrong. Well,
there's always just the doubt creeping into their head, isn't there?
Yeah, which there just can't be. Like, then that's the reason that like I'm losing faith in VAR. Like, I do really objectively like it. I just don't like the implementation.
But that's the thing. I don't get the whole argument of people that say sport is inherently wrong, so let's just embrace that. Like, surely you want the best outcome possible. Like, you want the fairest outcome possible.
See, that's how I kind of view it as well. Whereas, like, in fairness, I started watching football later. I was watching when I was a kid, but like I came in 2 seasons before VAR. So now I've probably had the same amount of seasons with VAR as I haven't. Like, when I've been watching as a proper football fan, excusing when I was a kid and I just wanted to see goals. So I prefer it because I can think of times where Tottenham were screwed by like the lack of VAR, and I can think now of more time. I'd say Tottenham have benefited more from VAR than we have not. So I'm always going to be like, yes, it's great. Rangers have benefited from VAR in Europe. We don't have it in the league, but we have it in Europe, and it's always benefited us. And whether it's a decision against us or a decision for us, if it's right, it's right, and I'm okay with that. I can accept that. It's just that when it's like, it could be wrong, it could be right, I'm not here for that. I need referees to be confident in themselves and the decisions they want to make.
Yeah, it's one of those. And also, just while we're on VAR, there is definitely like a big club bias thing. Like, I know that there are decisions that go our way that shouldn't normally. Like, that get overturned that probably wouldn't normally. And like, I think one of the ones that really sat to me is against West Ham against Arsenal, when Vladimir Kufau got a red card.
Yes.
When he tackled Lacazette. Lacazette fucking goes rolling over, does about 1,400 back, like, rolls, somersaults on the ground, massively accentuates it. Like, Kufau makes a slide tackle, gets the ball completely cleanly. Lacazette jumps over him, clips his foot on Kufau, but Kufau gets a red because his momentum carried him across the ball. What do you want players to do when they're tackling or when they're sliding in for something and they get the ball cleanly, but they clip a player? Like, they've got the ball, they've literally successfully made the tackle, they can't then just vanish.
Yeah, it's like they're discouraging basically a huge part of the game, which is
football's a contact sport. These are grown men. Fucking pick. Like, I like what James Alcott says, where there are those fouls where you say, "Oh, get up." Like,
yeah, like, there always are, and that's what's really frustrating about it. I hate that we're getting to a point where these players act like they're sticks in the wind, like, just getting blown over so easily.
People are probably getting even scared to like shoulder barge into players because they might get a yellow. It's just.
But then you get crazy stuff where, remember United against Chelsea, where Maguire basically had a chokehold on Azpilicueta, and nothing happened.
Or skip wrestling, not skip.
Yeah,
skip wrestling Azpilicueta.
Yes, yeah, like he did. He rugby tackled onto the ground, and I remember saying that to myself when I was watching. I was like, "That's literally a rugby tackle," but they did nothing about it, and I was like, "Well, that's a bit weird. Like, you're going to chop off Kane's goal, for pushing over Silva, but you're not going to give them a penalty for Skip literally just rugby tackling Azpilicueta to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One.
I don't know how they solve it. I actually do have a video scripted for this that I'm going to film as well, that I'm going to go a little bit deeper on all these things. Just in like very specific moments in time and where the inconsistencies lie and how it can get better. So watch out for that one.
Yes.
I want to talk about something a little bit more exciting.
Closer to home.
Pisses me off.
Something a bit closer to home.
Let's talk about Spurs, bro. Right? Let's talk about how we are the greatest and the worst club of all time.
I love how back and forth
Spurs
you go.
fans.
I love how back and forth. Spurs. Like 1 week you'll message me saying you're winning. You put a fucking £100 bet on you to win the league next season. Like
we're winning the league next season. I do believe that. Believe that. £100 well spent.
We're going
That's
for
all
5
I'm
and
saying.
6, mate.
Yeah, so you are. Just watch out. Conte's here, baby. So that's my point. In Conte we trust, right? I trust Conte. Spurs fans keep saying they trust Conte. Then we lose against Chelsea 3 times, which we should because we're objectively a worse team than them, and for whatever reason we have a complex against playing them. Conte hasn't had enough time to fucking make us a little bit grittier and make us want to win those games. Plus we're playing Matt Doherty on the right midfield when he's actually a fullback, and we're playing him in front of another fullback.
He's playing best at right wing back, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's just this weird situation where we were putting 2 fullbacks in front of 2 fullbacks, just to try and shut out the game. I assume try and be like defensive, and we were until that.
We're almost playing like 6 defenders.
Yeah, effectively that's what we were trying to do. But we obviously need new signings, right? It's a given that we can't go on with the team like this. We can't go on having Matt Doherty as one of our first choice on the right. It's just not feasible. Tanganga, sorry buddy, I really liked you. You're a bit shit. Probably time to go. So then why, when he wants to sign people, right? Obviously, Daniel Levy is a problem in himself. He promises a war chest and he doesn't give it, and then he gets really stingy over apparently £1 million basically for Adama Traore. But we clearly want him. Conte clearly wants him, and then people on the outside are like, yeah, we trust Conte, but also we don't trust Conte. Getting Adama is so stupid. But yeah, no, we should get Adama. This is so right. But then apparently the Tottenham structure are basically like the hierarchy are going, no, we shouldn't sign Adama, which is why it's stalling. But then apparently we've put in a £60 million bid for Luis Diaz, and it's like, well, I'm so confused about how we're supposed to feel, and there's 6 days left of this transfer window, and apparently we're going to bring in 4 players, but we're also not going to be bringing any players. And being a Spurs fan right now is just, it's exciting because we have Conte, but it's also really fucking annoying because we still have the same problems we had before, and then the fan base is just tearing itself to shreds. They are so adamantly for Conte, or they're so for him but they hate who he wants to sign, and then we're not spending money. I'm just done, man. I'm just done. It's so fucking stressful.
Yeah, so obviously when Conte got the job, he would have came in with his plan, had his meeting with Levy, had his plans, shown who he wants to sign, and it does seem like you need someone who can bring a bit of creation in that midfield.
Huge thing.
You just lack the Actually, Harry Winks has been very good. Them long range progressive passes from deep.
They're beautiful.
But then you
beautiful.
need someone that, if you're not able to get those passes through, you need someone that you can just break that one line. Then they can use their bit of pace, and then you can have Adamo. You could have him centrally, and then I know he plays best off the wing, but you could have him centrally. Then you have Mora, Kane, Son, all available for him to pass to.
So that's effectively the biggest thing right now, is that we need that midfield creativity when we should have it based on Lo Celso and Ndombele, both really good players. And Lo Celso won the Copa America for a reason. He won it as a starter for Argentina. Ndombele ripped it up at Lyon, and they have combined since they signed 2-3 years ago, made 16 full 90-minute appearances in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. How are these players so good elsewhere but not with us? Lo Celso's apparently just a dickhead. He's apparently rude to staff. So as soon as Conte saw that, he was like, "You're gone. You're done. You're not going to be part of my
Good
plans
man.
because you're just a rude arsehole." And I was like, "I agree." And like Lo Celso, I wanted to love you, mate. Fuck off. If you're going to be an arsehole to staff, that's just a limit, innit? I can take shit
Don't
performances.
bite
every
the
so
hand that
often.
feeds you, sort of thing.
Yeah. So this is where it comes in, right? So people are pissed off because we're looking at Fiorentina and we wanted to get Dusan Vlahovic. We were never going to get him. Like, let's be honest. We were never going to get him. It was a pipe dream, the same way that it was for Arsenal. But then people were like, okay, well, why are we now looking at their second string midfielder, Arambat, who's currently playing for Morocco right now? And we're like, oh, well, he's clearly shit 'cause he's second string and he has only made 286 minutes worth of appearances this season. But then Conte has played against him and said that he was brilliant. Paratici, our sporting director, said that he thinks he's a real diamond in the rough. We can get him on loan for half a season and then we buy him at the end for 15 million. But then they're angry that we are even considering this because he's not good enough. But then it's like, but you're saying we should also back Conte for whoever he wants. He clearly has an idea of who he wants. And if this kid, we got him on a loan for half season and he's shit, he goes back. What does it matter? It's good for the squad. It's a little bit of life in it. It's a little bit different. This could really prove that Paratici, I think that's how you say the thing. I think it proves that he is worth what he's worth by apparently being this man that can find these diamonds in the rough. But then the Spurs fan base are just so adamantly against it at the same time. It's like, have you even seen him play? Have you actually even seen him play to say that he's not good enough? You watched fucking 5 minutes of Lo Celso's highlights of Real Betis and went, he's going to be the world class best of the best, and he wasn't. So you're going to try to tell me a guy that you haven't watched highlights for is shit. Make up your mind, boys, because I want to go in with an open mind and just trust that Conte knows what he's doing, because he generally has done for the past 10 years.
I mean,
as you say, I'm just so wound up.
League winner, Champions League winner. I'm just
so wound up.
THFC Ben X 2012 knows more than him on Twitter. So this is what makes me laugh about Spurs fans, right? Like, obviously you've had the money spent on the stadium, you have the owner that promises you everything, all this, right? And then a lot of your fans have the complex that you're a club that can win the Champions League, win the Premier League, win the FA Cup, win whatever. But then you're not willing to go and make the signings for the rotation players, or think that players aren't good enough to play at a club that you haven't won a trophy since 2008.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you think we got Zinchenko from nowhere in Ukraine, and he is such an important player for us. He was so important for us in our Champions League run. He is such an undervalued, underpaid player, but every time he puts on a Man City shirt, because we gave him that chance, he fucking loves our club. He has been told by Man City if he wants to leave, they're more than happy for him to leave. They will understand all that, because he's only paid £50,000 a week, right? And for someone that's been with the club that long, done that much for us, I think he's played out of position just so much. And he puts on the Man City shirt. He said he wants to still fight for his position at Man City, and he wants to play more at Man City, sign a new contract there. If you don't get these sort of players that are willing, like Son, that are willing to die for your club,
exactly,
you need some of the players which aren't necessarily first team players, but will love your club, cherish every minute they play for your club.
Lucas Moura as well. He's a player that he bleeds Spurs. Lucas Moura, when he came, he was half decent. He was alright at PSG, but he was going to leave because he wasn't good enough for PSG. Let's be real, at the time. And then people were like, "Oh, he's not sure about this," and he wasn't great for a wee while. In fairness, look up now. He's one of the most important players in our team, and he would die for our club. He's exactly like Zinchenko, where he'd give everything to the club. So I don't understand when we're given this opportunity to have a player like that we could get in for so fucking cheap. 15 million could be an absolute bargain. Could be an absolute coup. I don't know why that fans are so pessimistic about everything around the club. I understand we get bad results in that, but they need to remember Conte also had us unbeaten in the league since he came in for like 8 in a row.
Yeah.
Like until Chelsea, and I have no doubt in my mind that after Chelsea as well, we'll go on a wee bit of a run again. He's there to build something, and if that man wants to get this around that guy, whatever, for half the season and possibly next season, why not take the risk? Why not just see? It could work out. It could be amazing. And we're also apparently now in for Louis fucking Diaz, bro. Where does this come from?
I thought he was from Liverpool or something.
Anyway. He went to Liverpool on my Football Manager
save. He goes to Liverpool on my Football Manager save.
Yeah, he's at AC Milan on mine now because I paid 50 million for him. So why are we scrimping, right? This isn't my problem with the club itself. Why are we scrimping over $1 million or $2 million for Adama for 25 days? But we have apparently officially put in a bid of like 60 million for Diaz. And this is coming from a guy in Portugal, like the journalist for the Portuguese league, is basically the most reliable person in that country apparently. Like you trust what this man says. Where is this coming from? See, this is the problem. Like, I love this club, right? And I go up and down all the time on how much I'm actually invested at the time. But I'm like that with every facet of my life anyway, so it just makes sense. But, I will die for my club. But it's so hard to fucking, follow along and really care when, the club is presenting himself over skin. We're the 9th richest club in the world. We're skin. We don't really want to get Adama. I know we need him. We don't really want to get him, but we're going to pay him 60 million for Luis Diaz just cause, because apparently now we're interested in him. And I'm like, what if we do get him and we get 4 players in this next 6 days and we actually have a wonderful end to the transfer window? And the past 25 days of hell have been pointless.
So.
And then, how am I supposed to feel? What is this club doing to me, man?
Yeah.
No wonder people have heart attacks.
How much? So you're gonna pay maybe 15 million for this guy, right? We got Zinchenko for 1.8 million.
Exactly. Oh, this actually brings me on to something else that happened while I was on holiday as well. We are apparently looking at signing this 19-year-old non-league player. This doesn't bother me, right? I'm like, okay, because he could be a baller.
Yeah.
I mean, if we pay a nominal fee for him, whatever. Brighton are looking at him as well. He's trained with us for the past few weeks and apparently he's impressed. So I'm like, well, Ollie, if you want to sign for us, but let's do it. So why are we signing a non-league 19-year-old when we had Dylan McCartney, who bleeds Spurs, but he wasn't given enough first team opportunities and he had to leave to go to Blackburn for 500k. Why are we not? This boy is a baller. He will play in the Premier League for a big chunk of his career, no doubt in my mind. He is so good, and we're like, yeah, we'll take 500k for you because we don't actually see any opportunities for you, even though we could really do with a player like you just being in and about the team. But we will look at maybe spending a few million on this 19-year-old kid that no one's actually heard of before last week. What is this logic?
Yeah.
Where does this come?
Well, I think if you look at the top 2 managers in the league, Klopp and Pep, the way they have managed youth in recent years, outstanding. I think that is actually one of the main things that sets them apart from every other manager in the league. And I'm sure Conte, while he's with you, will probably do the same. He'll help develop those youth players. Like Pep's sheer reluctance to send Foden out on loan, Liam Delap out on loan, Cole Palmer, James McAtee, Wilson Ezeband, all of these guys that are starting or getting minutes in FA Cup games, League Cup games, well, we're getting minutes in League Cup games, but the way that Pep and Klopp have managed these youth, like Trent, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott for Liverpool, and slowly introduce them into the squad. When you say that example, I'm like, if you had someone like Pep or Klopp that could manage these younger players and slowly bring them in, give them more opportunities, build them up here and there, you might not be in this issue at all.
I fully believe that. Like, look at Oliver Skip. He is someone who was nurtured by Pochettino. Jose Mourinho said he's a future captain. Everyone has rated this kid. He was out in Norwich. He was Norwich's Player of the Year in the Championship. And obviously, Pep doesn't loan out his kids typically, which makes sense, but also sometimes it's good for the development depending on opportunities and facilities and stuff like that. It's worked out for Skip, and he looks great. Harry Kane was a youth player for us, and he's amazing, right? We have Dane Scarlett, who's an unreal attacker, he's 17. I'm feared he's going to end up like Dylan McCartney and just have to leave because he won't get the opportunities that are afforded to him. Because we all know Conte is a world-class manager, but he's also a short-term manager. He's going to be here for 2 years maximum.
Yeah, 2-3 years, then he's off.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can fully rely on him to bring through our youth players either. Which doesn't make sense when we have these insane facilities and are supposed to be this massive club, but then we get the board and the internals of it all treat us like we are still only just getting into the Champions League for the first ever time 10 years ago. Where we were a consistent Champions League team for a good few years. We competed for a league at one point. I
mean, you came third in a two-horse race now.
Yeah.
Banter.
I am done with Spurs. Like, see, this is my fucking problem, right? I start talking about Spurs, I get so frustrated, and I'm done with them.
Just quickly, what's the thing about this cinema? So we can't pay $1 million for fucking Adama, but we can build a fucking cinema by Harley. I saw you like this tweet where it's like you're arguing over $1 million for Adama Traore, but then you're something about a cinema.
Oh, bro, we are building like basically this luxury complexes. I actually really like the idea of it, right? Because we're basically doing what City have done, where they've made the surrounding area nice. Like we do know North London isn't necessarily like it's a bit like it's not affluent. Yeah, it needs to get built up, doesn't it? Like it needs more investment in it, and that's what Spurs are trying to do.
I wouldn't walk around there past 4 o'clock. It's what I'm saying.
I can tell you right now, I was a bit nervous going down the alleyway from that area at like fucking 10 o'clock at night when I was in London, but we move on. I love Spurs, all that fun stuff. But basically, they're trying to build up the area around it because we have this world-class stadium, absolutely outstanding, and we're like, yeah, we need the facilities around it to make it an appealing place to visit. But
you also need an appealing team.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? How can you have the second biggest stadium in the league and still have this shit a team that hasn't won?
Who's first? Man United, right?
Yeah. And their fucking stadium's a shithole. Yeah, so we have the nicest stadium.
It is a massive shithole.
Yeah, it's falling apart. But this is the problem with Spurs, right? I love them. I watch every single Spurs game if I can, assuming I will make an active effort to watch all the games. But I hate them. I hate them so much. Because I get so frustrated all the time. I've talked for nearly 20 minutes about this goddamn team and how frustrating they are. Am I still going to watch their game when we get back from this international break? You know it, and I'm going to love it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to tell you that we're winning the league because that's all I have. I just need to tell myself this at the start of every season. I go, we're winning something this season. Have we? We got the Champions League final once when I said it.
I mean, we got hamstrung by Southampton, and you've got them next, so good luck.
No, we're fine. We'll beat
and then you've got us.
And Conte we trust.
Oh no, you have Wolves after that. Then you have us.
Well, that's fine because we'll take a Adama off of them, and the Adama is always the one that causes problems when we play Wolves.
Yeah.
So, I'm not scared about versing you because we're your bogey team. So
I think Man United are our bogey team. No, fucking this season, Southampton. It is Southampton. Like.
Yeah, didn't you draw with Southampton last season as well?
Yeah,
they needed to beat you last season.
Honestly, it's just.
I would like to say though that you still haven't scored at New White Hart Lane.
Yeah, the Shrimps have.
At stadium for 2 years. Yes, exactly. It's not for everybody.
It's not.
It's not for everybody. Let's move on because I'm actually so frustrated at Spurs. I've got talking about them and now I'm just angry. Are Chelsea back in the title race? No.
There we go. Well.
Chelsea fans are delusional.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a hard one because obviously we're 12 points clear. I think
it's something
like that. Yeah. So now 10 points or 9 points. I don't know, depending on. Let's have a look quick. Points. now 9 points clear. So
That's more than enough.
yeah, like we dropped 2 points, but it's what it is.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen
yeah,
at some point. You can't win every game, can you?
No. But
Are Chelsea going to win every game that you make a mistake?
No.
No shot.
No.
No shot.
Liverpool? Nope.
No. Sorry, Kira.
But it's one of those, isn't it? Like, I think the fact that we're so far ahead, as soon as we drop points, people are going to be like, oh, is the race back on? Like, we still won.
No,
still
it's
won
not.
it, mate. Still going to match
Like,
Fergie's record, which, you know, makes me laugh when people say, oh, Man City are ruining the league. But please, if you can find it, just look up that little graphic of the Premier League up until like 2009, where it's like first, second, second, first, third, fourth, whatever. Or like, do you know the one I mean?
Yep. I do indeed. I don't actually, like, it doesn't actually really faze me, Man City win the league. It's one of those weird things where it doesn't bother me. Like, I was actually willing City to win the league instead of Liverpool. Both seasons, Liverpool competing for the league. Because I just really don't like Liverpool. And I'd rather see Man City dominate. Like, it's a really weird scenario.
The thing. I think people only dislike City now because we dominate. Like, you had no reason to dislike us before.
Yeah, that's entirely it. Let's be real. People are jealous that yous came from nothing and became something. And that's how I view it, because I am jealous. I wish that was Spurs. I wish we went from being a mediocre team to world beaters. Everybody wishes their team did that. Look at Brian from the kickoff. He literally complained about the oil money for City constantly. Now Newcastle have it. His tone has shifted a wee bit, where he's like, well, could be us soon.
Well,
and it's
will
like,
be
well,
you soon.
Yeah, exactly. So people are just jealous. That's the only way I can see it.
And the thing is, like, eventually Newcastle will be the new people at the top of the league, and you know they'll be there. They'll probably follow pretty much the same model as Man City, not Everton, when Everton got taken over, because we've seen how that went. Because obviously now everyone knows Newcastle have the money. People can come and mug Newcastle off. They'll be like, oh, we'll just throw an extra 5 million on for that player for the transfer, because if you really want him, you'll pay it.
Yeah.
And
that's just what
and obviously that was the worry for Aston Villa when they got the Grealish money, which was why they made the sensible transfers before the Grealish one happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, people just on the topic of people not liking Man City, we'll just skip the few points prior to the
we'll get to them.
And obviously there's this screenshot circulating around of Man City tickets on uni days, which, you know,
yes,
Manchester, one of the most densely populated cities in the UK, 3 massive universities here with a massive student culture, and also one of the poorest areas in the country. Particularly the area in northwest Manchester, where you have a large majority of Manchester City fans. So when there's an opportunity for students to get tickets for £10, when, let's not forget, less than a year ago we had fans complaining about the Super League, that they're pricing fans out of the game. Tickets are costing £200 a pop at Chelsea matches, or season ticket at Chelsea is now £4,000. Yet you'll get irate at that and say Chelsea needs to lower their prices, Manchester United needs to lower their prices, Liverpool needs to lower their prices. Man City are so aware of the fan base. They have the second lowest season ticket price. They have one of the lowest costs to go to league matches in the Premier League. They have the second most full stadium on league nights, on league games. Yet when we put out £10 tickets for students who are in a very deprived area of the country for a 4th round FA Cup match against Fulham, fans get annoyed, or fans find a way to take the piss because, you know, it's Man City, they can't fill their stadium. Like, get a fucking grip. Like, you would be gagging for your team to put £10 tickets on, but you're just going to fucking sit there and soak up £40 tickets for an FA Cup tie against fucking Wickham or something.
I agree. I agree with everything. I don't understand this weird negativity over...
Like, my girlfriend, West Ham fan, still now they do it, but when she was younger, West Ham used to do, and still do, a thing called Kids for a Quid. Even on league matches where parent buys a ticket, any amount of kids that go for you, £1 per ticket.
That's such a brilliant idea.
Enables your kids to get a experience of the football. Doesn't cost the parents an exorbitant amount more than what their original ticket costs. But exactly. I know Liverpool actually do something similar for like FA Cup matches and that. And obviously, as you get later in the cup games, prices will go up. But I told you, because of obviously how empty the stadium was at the Leipzig game, I'm not saying it wasn't. Obviously, it was. There was a significant lack of fans there. I think it was about half full.
Madness.
Like, they ended up putting tickets out for £1. Like,
I don't see what's wrong.
What is wrong with that? Like, at the end of the day, you're getting the chance to go and see one of the best clubs, one of the best teams. Okay, no, I said best club, best teams in the world right now. You're getting to see elite football for £10. You may have people that have never gone to a football match before, never watched a football match before, say, "Oh, it's a tenner, I'll go watch it." Man City are meant to be a really good team. Day out with some of your mates, I'll take the girlfriend for the first time.
Exactly.
You may have introduced 3 or 4 new fans, and then people say, "Oh, they've not been fans since they were born." Blah blah blah. What does it matter? Like, if someone's a fan of something, they enjoy something, you can learn the history. You can learn that just because you weren't fucking born into that fan base. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're fully right. Like, if Rangers were offering kids for £1, I would take my wee sister Andy
all the time.
All the time. I just can't afford to bring her to every game because I just simply don't have the £20 to pay for her ticket on top of the £30 I have to pay for mine.
Yeah.
Like,
and the petrol you pay to get there.
Exactly, like the travelling and just the time and stuff like that. Like, a kid for £1, she would come to every single football game that I'm going to. I'm sure most parents would do that as well if their kid had even the faintest interest in football.
Yeah.
I think it's such a bizarre thing to have a go at a club for trying to make ticket prices affordable when that's all we ever want. We just
when
want
fans
affordable ticket prices.
So regularly complain about the price of tickets, but then when it's Man City that do it,
make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sense.
Like, I don't know what a season ticket costs at Tottenham, but I'm guessing it's probably over £1,000. Like your cheapest one.
I'd assume so.
West
yeah.
Ham are the cheapest at £250. Man City the cheapest is £257.
Madness. Amazing. Madness.
Like, this is one of the most amazing teams to play, and they are charging probably lower than some championship sides charge for a league for a season ticket.
Their lowest season ticket costs the same amount as the highest season ticket of St Johnstone, who have a 10,000 seater stadium that maybe fill about 5k of that game. So they're making football accessible for the fans.
Especially when it's such a poor area of Manchester as well.
Yeah, like
the people that are taking the piss out of it just have no idea how bad that area, like that obviously large area that support Manchester City, how poor that surrounding is. It's
just football.
Like if you have kids who are at college or high school, and they have uni days, and they can go, "Oh, Dad, I can get my ticket for a tenner." Like, why would the fucking dad not say, "Yeah, get it"?
No, the dad's going to be like, "No, fuck you. You're spending the £40.
Yeah.
Fuck you." Like, you're not allowed to get a discount that makes total sense and is absolutely reasonable. You should 100% take that. I disagree. You should spend the £40 on a ticket because that's what our true football.
That's what a true blue would do. He'd support his club,
bro.
Spend all the money.
Fucking.
I don't actually know how much a ticket to the Fulham game is normally. I think it'll probably be like £20. I think I looked at it. So it's only half price. But I saw Man United, I think their tickets are £40 for their FA Cup game.
Yeah, but Man United are fucking arseholes. So.
Oh, from £15. So they're only knocking a fiver off of it.
Well, that's devastating though. Absolutely embarrassing club. Like, what the fuck?
Hospitality from £100.
Oh my god, so I don't understand
So
the issue.
when I went on my tour of the Etihad, they said our first round of the Carabao Cup where we played Wickham, you get hospitality for £70. The best hospitality level.
That's
and I've paid £55 for us to go, me and my girlfriend, to go see Brentford. £55 each.
That's madness. Oh. I just don't understand the huge issue people have with it at all. I've said that
I don't know.
but just...
Especially when we
such a
had
bizarre
such an outroar about football becoming too expensive in that last year with the Super League.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see
well,
people,
we move.
Football fans have short memory, don't they? Shall we talk about Norwich? Two back-to-back wins.
Two back-to-back wins. Is that the first time? It was something mad, wasn't it? Since like 1996.
I also have no idea.
I don't know if that... Oh, no, it was their first time out of the bottom three since 96, wasn't it?
I don't know. I hope for their sake that that's not true. I really hope it's not true for their sake. But can they make the Great Escape?
Can I just say as well, I think it is 2 back-to-back matches got managers sacked.
So it is. That's got to be like its own little
statistic,
record, does it not? I like that.
The
very
thing
much
is,
I didn't like Rafa.
It's so bad, but like when you think about, it's like, oh yeah, if Everton, they lost to Newcastle. Oh yeah, they're in a bit of a relegation battle with them. Oh, they lost to Watford. Yeah. Oh, lost to Burnley. Oh, they lost to Norwich. It's like losing to Norwich is that's the one, isn't it? That.
Like, Liverpool lost to Watford 3-0 the season Watford got relegated. Everyone was like, wow, it was just an amazing win for Watford, off day for Liverpool. You get beat by Norwich. It's kind of like...
It's like, that was a fucking brilliant day for Norwich and a horrendous day for...
So those two things tie in for me. Can Norwich stay up by putting Everton down?
I would love it, honestly. I don't know what I'd find better, like Everton going down or Newcastle going down. Because I don't really like... I don't like Everton. I just think our fan base is a bit, like... cunty.
They've just got a bit of a complex. The same way that Spurs have a complex against Chelsea, Everton have a complex against everybody, it feels like. I don't know why. I didn't really mind Everton, but the something about Rafa really made me dislike them. And then they sold Luka Dean...
And then fired Rafa 2 days later. They sold their best player and then fucked him off, the manager off.
On top of basically making their chief of medical leave.
It was like 4 staff, wasn't it, that they sacked off because of him.
And I kind of want to see them fail. I like Duncan Ferguson. Don't get me wrong.
He's a man that wears a suit and thinks he's doing a job.
That's what I like about him.
He's so useless. Man. Do you know, sorry, I took the piss. My girlfriend was like, oh, who's he? She's like, I didn't expect him to be Scottish. I was like, didn't you? I was like, that's Alex Ferguson's son. She's like, is it? No.
No, that's brilliant.
It's like the Josh Sargent thing, which no one on here will understand why it's funny. That listens to this will understand why it's funny.
Oh yeah, Logan Sargent's probably... Well, special spot for Duncan. He made 14 league appearances for Rangers.
Wow.
Scored 2 goals. Yeah.
Amazing.
Went to jail for assault on the pitch as well.
Big up, my guy.
But yeah, I kind of want to see Everton go down. I think it would be funny. Like, if you look at the league table, Leeds aren't going down in my head. Whatever people say, they're not in a relegation battle.
Isn't it if Newcastle beat Everton? Yeah, like... just a point. What is it? No, a couple of points behind them. Yeah, 1 point behind them. And I think Newcastle. I don't know what in my brain, but I just feel like the last 2 games something's made a change in Newcastle.
There is something about them that just feels a little bit. Maybe that Chris Wood signing really was necessary.
Yeah.
And has just given the team maybe that little lift that they needed. Like,
just saying.
Right, this guy.
John Joe Shelby is an absolute baller, isn't he? Like.
He is. And you know who else is a baller as well? And I love it? Kieran Trippier. That man, I'm talking about Chris Wood making an impact. Kieran Trippier has made a great impact at Newcastle. And I will fucking die on that hill because I really like Trips. And I think that he was a very smart signing for a variety of reasons.
Definitely. I mean, he just adds so much experience, the winning mentality, just the way that in his first match he went around and clapped the fans at the end of it.
I loved that, and it showed his character, and I think that he will become a very big leader for his time at Newcastle, and I do think he'll go down as a bit of a.
I suspect he'll probably get captaincy next season. Sack Sean Longstaff off.
I really expect so. And so this is all playing into the hand that I think that either Norwich or Newcastle.
Yeah, because I think Burnley definitely going down, Watford definitely going down. You can't have two managers in a season and not be going down, can you?
No, I mean we can.
And then I think you have 3 teams battling for 18th. Now.
I really, and like a football manager way, like want Everton to go down. Like people always put up these screenshots of Spurs getting relegated in Football Manager. I really want it to be like Everton going down because it's just fucking nuts, bro. They behind Arsenal have the second longest run in the top division, so I want to see that end. Just cause I just think it'd be quite funny. I like a bit of drama. Everton in the Championship, but they got
Dominic Calvert. Yeah, I know. That's what I said to my girlfriend. I was like, the fact that got that £3 billion stadium.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin's actually. Talking about him, I've seen some links with him in Arsenal for before the end of this window. So he might not even need to. He might be jumping ship.
I think that'd be a good move. I think that'd be a very good move for him.
I think that'd be great for Arsenal.
I fucking hate Richarlison. I hope I don't have to see his mug again for a few years. Fuck off to the Championship.
It's so funny because I can tell when your girlfriend hates certain players, she really makes it known she hates them, and I feel like that translates onto you so much. Like I know for a fact she hates Richarlison, and she's said it.
I genuinely just hate him as well. It's like nothing even like it's not even like corresponded. It's just like we both fucking hate. He just seems like a prick.
He does,
and also the amount of times like you do graphic design, it's sort of something I want to be into. The amount of times I've seen him fucking post people's stuff and not even like take their little logos out of the corners and stuff.
I saw him accidentally credit somebody once and then delete the post and then crop out the credit, which I thought was just ludicrous. I was like, that's mad that he's just actually done that.
Yeah.
He's a bit, that's fair. It'd be quite funny to see him in the Championship. He'd probably get bought out before then. But then Everton go down. Do they really come back up either?
I don't know if they do. I don't know.
Oh, the possibilities. It's just, it's thrilling. One more thing I want to talk about just briefly. I don't want to talk too much on it because I want to make a video about it. But I was wrong about Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think you wanted to be wrong about him at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that Aston Villa would actually do something this season. But here they are, they're bringing in Coutinho, they're bringing in Lucadine, they're trying to bring in Luis Suarez.
I know.
Like,
Steven Gerrard's just really calling in favours from his playing career, isn't he?
As he should as well, and it's working. I like that he's proving himself. Like people go, oh, it was Rangers, it was in the Scottish League. He was doing it in Europe, and people didn't acknowledge he was doing it in Europe against good teams. Now he's doing it in the Premier League against good teams, and it just it's so satisfying to just be proven right that he's a good manager, and I'm so happy to be proven wrong that Aston Villa are doing something this season.
I think he
wasn't convinced.
Very nice, unique way of playing as well. Like obviously he plays 4-3-3, but it's a very different way of playing it.
He's so dynamic, and he loves playing on the wings.
Yeah.
And that, I'm a sucker for wing play, bro. I just love it.
And I think obviously when you see Pep doing it, he has the fullbacks cutting inside, and you keep the wing players out for the width. Whereas Gerrard, it's like the opposite.
He's got like these inverted wingers or inside forwards, and then he's got his bombing like complete wing backs. Which is perfect for like a player like
Lucadine. Yeah, that is. They've fucking smashed that signing, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. And
that could be a signing that takes them, help get them into the Champions League positions. Like if they could get Coutinho on a permanent at the end of the season, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Could see it happening if they could bring in Luis Suarez for real. It sounds crazy, but Aston Villa could be competing for top 4.
Do you know? Remember when Gerrard came in and I said they could get top 6 by the end of this season?
You're right. You're fully right. I was a hater, a denier, and now
they are quite far off currently. They are 10 points behind Arsenal with no games in hand.
That's fine. Steven Gerrard will work it out. Arsenal will fuck it up. They can swap.
£130 million well spent for Arsenal.
Bro, I just love that he's doing well. I mean, I kind of also hate that he's doing well.
I think he will be
a little bit better.
I think he'll be so good at helping midfielders develop in particular. Like, seeing what he's done for Jacob Ramsey. Like, as soon as he moved to Aston Villa, he was pretty much a star.
Well, it's like Joe Rebo at Rangers, one of the best players at AFCON. He came from Charlton, went to
massively
Rangers,
developed
and became
him,
one
didn't
of the best players in Scotland. So he commands that kind of presence, and he has the ability and technical knowledge to help replicate it. Which next season is going to be so interesting for Villa, and this is where, just before we finish up, I want to ask a question. Could he realistically, stick it out with Villa for a wee bit and build the team up, compete for Europe and trophies? I see Liverpool going into a lull pretty soon. I see them becoming an Arsenal. They're not looking to reinvest, losing their star players because they're getting older
only willing to pay Mohamed Salah 200k. Are you joking?
Exactly.
Give him the same wage as fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, mate.
Exactly. So could we see this weird dynamic shift, where Liverpool slip down and go through their little bit of the quiet years? We see Villa come up, and he's not 100% willing to take that Liverpool job anymore because it'd be a step down.
For me, no. I think as soon as that Liverpool job comes available, he takes it, because he's now shown he can do it in a lower league. Like, obviously, I'm not. Oh my days!
Oh my god, bro!
Oh my days!
I
just saw that out of the corner of my eye.
I was eyes wide, mouth open. Hakimi has just scored a worldie of a free kick in this AFCON game. We already saw a crazy goal in the first half, and we said at the start of the podcast we wouldn't talk about this game, but since we're right at the end anyway, we're probably going to finish up right after this. I have to mention Hakimi's goal. My god, bro. How's he done that then?
But yeah, I think if that job comes available, unless there is an extremely large project that needs to be undertaken, because I know Gerrard did have a bit of a project at Rangers to get them back to where they are, but I think to rebuild Liverpool to where they want to be and to get that title for Gerrard, I think personally, I think unless there's that situation, he doesn't go. But I think really, if there's a half decent team there, he's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's more of just, I don't think it would happen, to be fair, but I do think it's interesting that he could end up building up this powerhouse at Aston Villa.
And while you were here,
it could be hard to leave.
I said to you, like, depending on contract situations and that, I would happily take, but even how he's been so briefly, I would happily take Gerrard at Man City. I don't think he would ever come to us, but
yeah, no, you're right. Like,
I think he would be a very good manager for us.
Convinced he's going to be a top manager.
Yeah, I think he's one of those top players, but one of the few that will make it as a top manager.
Yeah.
And I think it was quite.
I'm excited to watch it.
It was quite funny when he did that interview. I don't remember who it was with, but when he said a lot of players think because of what they've done in the game, they can come into this and just do brilliant, which is very clearly aimed at Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
Obviously not 100%. Paul Scholes, because he's only ever managed Salford City, but you know. But yeah, I think Gerrard is a top manager here for the long run.
It's been a pleasure. It was good to film again. It feels like we had that week break because I was on holiday.
Yeah,
but
we were we had so kind of like a 2-week break because we were meant to record after the Man City game, but you were a bit rough from the night before, so.
Let's not talk about that. It was horrible. Actually, one of the worst days of my life. I had to lay in bed all day. I had no option.
Rest in peace, that macaroni cheese.
It's fine. Charlotte got to eat it.
She did.
I had one bit of it, and I was like, no, thank you. I'll pay the £8 and never look at that again. Yeah, that's that. If you've enjoyed this episode of the pod, remember to give us a follow on Twitter at allnothingpod. Follow the TikTok because we're going to actually start posting content on that soon. All and Nothing Pod. Follow the Spotify to keep up with the weekly podcast, obviously, and we're releasing videos weekly actually this time
Yes.
because I'm back from holiday and I've got to release my video from this week. But it's fine. We'll figure it out.
That's it. It'll be
Thank
alright.
you for listening.
Thank you guys very much for listening. Bye.